Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss with distribution of public keys. Okay. Yesterday we have talked on how to distribute symmetric key. Okay. That is a private key or a secret key, or you can call it a session key as well. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about uh, public keys. How do we distribute public keys among users? Uh, as you can see it on the slide, uh, public key, the moment we say public key, okay, it is open to everyone. It is open for public to access. That's a public key which can be accessible by anyone. Right? So that's how we named as a public key. Okay. And what's the issue we have with this? Okay. That is the how to ensure public key of A actually belongs to A. That is the masquerading effect. Like someone can pretend to be somebody else. Okay. So as a public key is available, everybody's public key is available to everyone. So so masquerading is easily done. Okay. So anyone can claim himself as anybody. So that can be easily happen. That then there are four approaches for distributing public keys. So how do we distribute public keys securely, okay, among peers? Okay, that we're going to discuss. So the four methods we named as the first one is public announcement. Second is publicly available directory. Third is public key authority. And fourth one is public key certificates. Okay. So let us try to understand all each and every one. The first one is public key announcement. Okay. The first method of sharing public key is by announcing it to public users. Okay. That is uncontrolled public key distribution. As you can see it in the diagram, there were two users, A and B, who were involving in the communication. Now what A is doing? Now A and B normally, as we know, every node can create a pair of keys. Okay, that is one is a private key, and that is a public key. So private key, the person keeps with himself. The public key, he just reveal it to outside world. Okay, as you can see, that PUA, that is the user A is revealing his public key to the outside world. Okay, he is simply revealing it to outside world to make use of his public key during the encryption and decryption process. Similarly, the user B, he is also maintaining a pair of keys with him. Private key is maintaining with himself, and public key is revealing it to outside world. Okay, so uncontrolled public key distribution means so if you can think on n numbers in the network, now you can see only two members in the screen. If you think there are n numbers in the network, if all of them were simply revealing the public key in the network, okay, and even you can see in the slide there are one can generate n number of public keys. Just now that only one person is creating only one pair of uh, private and public key. He can create any number of public keys. Probably in the last class when I showed you the demonstration of Mailweb application. Okay, in that you can just see that we can generate n number of public keys. Okay, we can generate n number of public keys. So that is the uncontrolled public key distribution happen by a particular node. Okay, so all the public keys were kept open to be used by the users. Okay, so this is one way of sharing it. Now, how user is sharing his public key? He will generate a public key and he'll just put it across the uh, globe to use by the others. So this is one way of sharing the public key by revealing it to the outside world. Second is public key publication. Okay, public key publication. And what is that? We have a central authority called a public key directory. Okay. We have central authority called a public key directory. Every user, whoever wants to share their public key, what they do is they generate their pair of keys, then they just share their public key in the public key directory. Okay. This public keys directory is nothing but a telephone book. Okay. If you just see the real-time example, Probably you would have seen the telephone book, which comes in older days. Now we don't have any telephone directories as such. Okay. In the telephone directories, what we have the phone number of all the users who are staying in the particular location. Okay, we have the phone number of all the users, like the phone number were publicly accessible to everyone. Okay. The landline numbers of the people who are staying at a particular location, yes, you can assume that as the public key information. So you can assume that as the public information, which is accessible to everyone. Okay. So using that landline number, anyone can dial to any other person to communicate. Okay. So this is the same way. Okay. The moment a person has a public key with him, we just registered his public key to public key directory. Okay. So something like someone who owns a landline, he can just share his number in the uh, telephone directory, okay, so using which other people can contact him. Okay. So it's very similar to that. Okay, so anyone in the network, so whoever wants to communicate with the other person, they need to share their respective public key to the public key directory. Okay. Now, what are the disadvantage then? What are the disadvantage of this particular process? Okay. So if public key directory got tampered, if public key directory got tampered by the intruder, okay, intruder, then again the communication is no more safer. Okay. So intruder can put his number, his name in place of somebody's number. Okay. Intruder can put his number in place of somebody's number, or intruder can do the tapping between the two conversation. Okay, so this is no more considered as safer to distribute a public key. Okay, even the first one as well. Even the first one, as public key is open, public key is revealing it to open globe, so anyone can claim himself as anybody. That masquerading is it can be possible with the first technique as well as this second technique. Okay, so let's move on to the third technique, that is public key authority. Okay, public key authority. Now just look at the diagram first carefully. We have three roles. Uh, so two persons in the communication. One is the initiator A, okay, and other is the responder B. Just a second. Someone is waiting for the lobby. Let me allow him. Okay. Okay. The public key authority is the like a trusted third person. Public key authority is the one who helps in sharing the public key with its uh, registered users. Okay, its registered users. Now there were totally 7 transactions among these three people. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. Okay, so here the main agenda is distribution of public key. Okay, the distribution of public key is the main agenda. Now, how does it happen through public key authority that we were discussing here? Okay, so initiator A, uh, he wants to communicate with B. Okay, so A wants to communicate with B. So how does he do that? Okay, how does A communicate with B using B's public key? Okay, so as A can't simply take a public key of B from the globe, like in the first process we have public key announcement. Okay, like if A is simply fetching the public key of B from the internet, okay, there that is not safe. Why? Because anyone can claim himself as B. Okay, that's why the first method, that is public key announcement, that is not safe. Why? Because if we just simply get the public key of B from the internet or the network, so anyone can claim himself as B. So that is not safe. Even the second method, wherein public key directory. Okay, even in that directory, if the directory got tampered, if someone is claiming as some other person, then then in that case also it is not safe. If the public key directory got tampered, then it is not safe. Okay, so then what is the next step? So this public key authority is the third method of sharing the public key. Okay, so suppose A wants to communicate with B using his public key. Then what he do is, first A will request for B's public key because A wants to communicate with B. So A is requesting his public key with the centralized authority, with the public key authority or the trusted authority. Okay, you can see the first transaction as the request and attached with the timestamp. Okay, request attached with the timestamp. Okay, like the particular request has been made on so and so time. Okay, the timestamp also attached with that particular request. Okay. Now what is that we have in the request? In that request, we are requesting the public key of the B. Okay, because A wants to communicate with B, that's why he is requesting his public key. Okay, to public key authority. Then public key authority, what is I would respond. Yeah. Now you can see in the second transaction, public key. Second, someone is okay. In the second transaction, as a response from the public key authority, you can see E of PR authority. And what is that PR authority? PR authority is private key of public key. Private key of public key authority. Okay, PR AUTH means private key of public key authority. Okay, so public key authority, it encrypts the package. Okay, so what the package contains? The package contains the public key of B, which has been requested by A. So that it is now responding. Okay, so that is processing PUB followed by the same request which has been sent by A. Okay, request along with the timestamp. Okay, the same request which has been sent by A, along with that, public key authority is processing the uh, B's public key to A. Okay, and the entire package has been encrypted by private key of public key authority. Okay, private public key authority. So it can be decrypted by A easily. Okay, so that message has been sent to A. Now A now can decrypt the message. Okay, A now can decrypt the message which he got from public key authority using public key authority's public key. Then now A got to know about PUB. A got to know about PUB after second transaction. Okay, similarly, okay, now initiator A, what he'll do using that public key, okay, he use and then he encrypts his detail. Okay, if you can see the third transaction message, E of PUB IDA along with N1. What is N1? N1 is a nonce, okay, just to identify the unit transaction or a randomly generated number. Okay, along with that, he's sending his identifier, his details as an identifier. Okay, and then the entire thing got encrypted by public key of B, which he got from the trusted authority. Okay, is got from trusted authority. Now that third transaction, it can be only decrypted by private key of B. Nobody else can decrypt that message as it has been encrypted by using the related public key of B. Okay, when B got that message, okay, it can decrypt it and it got to know that someone who is claiming himself as A, okay, try to communicate with me. Okay, trying to communicate with me. So that B has getting with the third transaction. Okay, so similarly, you can see the fourth and fifth transaction. So in the fourth transaction, suppose if B wants to communicate with A, so B should know the public key of A. Okay, if suppose B want to communicate with A, then B must have public key of A. So again, the same way, B is requesting a public key of A to the public key authority as we have done in first and second. So in first and second transaction, what happened? A is requesting for a public key of B and public key authority is processing that request. Similarly, now in the fourth transaction, B is requesting for a public key of A to public key authority, and in the fifth transaction, public key authority is processing that request. Okay, so you can see the fifth transaction. Again, the transaction has been encrypted using private key of public key authority, and the package contained PUA, which has been requested by B, and the same request which has come from B. Okay, so after fifth transaction, B comes to know about public key of A. Okay, B comes to public key of A. Now, using that public key of A, now respond to B is doing the sixth communication. Okay, now the sixth communication, as now B got to know about A's public key, and in the third transaction, he got to know that somebody is trying to communicate with me who is claiming himself as A. Okay, so just to make sure whether whether the claiming person is a trusted owner or not. So what we will do is we will add his own nonce. We will create his own nonce n2, and he'll be appending with n1. Okay, n1 which has been posted by A, claiming himself as A. Okay, and he's sending n1. So B is generating n2 and appending that n2 with n1, and the entire thing is encrypted using public key of A, which he got from the trusted authority, that is public key authority. Okay. Now, if A is trusted person, suppose if A is the person who is claiming himself as A, then he can easily decrypt with his own private key. Okay. If somebody else is claiming as A, then he cannot decrypt the sixth package. Okay, the sixth package or the sixth transaction could be only decrypted by A using his own private key. Okay, if somebody is claiming himself as A, then he cannot do that, right? So now A is the now initiator A is the genuine person, is the trusted person, so he can easily decrypt the sixth transaction using his private key. Then he got to know about N1 and N2. Okay, N1 which has sent okay to the B, and he got the same N1 back okay from the other end. So now A comes to know that B is the trusted person. Okay, so whichever message I have been sent by using a public key, it has been reached to B only. Okay, and I'm getting a response from B. Okay, now A has to confirms his identity. Okay, now B has confirmed his identity to A. Now A has to confirm his identity to B. Okay, now that is done in the seventh transaction. A is confirming his identity by sending the seventh transaction as an acknowledgement to 6. Okay, so now what is that happening in the seventh transaction? A is using uh, public key of B. Okay, now A knows the public key of B from the trusted source, that is public key authority. Okay, now A uses public key of B and encrypt the N2. Okay, N2 which has been sent by responder, that is B. Okay, when the responder gets that 7 transaction, he will be easily decrypt that with its own private key, and he got to know that the same N2 got back. Okay, the same N2 he got back. Then now B can make sure that A is the genuine person or A is the trusted person. Okay, A is the trusted person. That's how he's using the same public key, and he is sending N2 back as acknowledgement. Okay. So by doing this, now both A and B are ensuring their identity with each other. Their identity with each other using public key. Okay, using public key uh, uh, without getting it affected by the masquerade attack. Okay, so both peers or both nodes were claiming their identity with each other. Okay, so here masquerading attack won't come in the picture, or I can you can even say man in the middle attack won't come in the picture. Okay, so none of them has claiming themselves as other person. So he is claiming himself as A to B, and B is claiming himself as B to A. Okay, so that's how they can share a public key with each other by public key authority. Okay, so this is the most safest method compared to the first and second. Okay, where in the first method, public key announcement, whereas public key is openly available in the globe. Okay, so suppose A wants to get access to B's public key, so there anyone can claim himself as B to the A. Okay, so that was the threat in the first method. The second method, if the public key directory got tampered, there also the chances of masquerade attack are possible. So it was not safer to distribute a public key. In the third step, the public key has been shared by a trusted authority called public key authority. Okay, so A and B can share their public key securely through the third medium, through the third trusted medium. Okay, so this is a public key authority, the third method. Now, what are the disadvantages here? So what is the drawback we can find here? Okay, so there's no drawback as far the security is concerned, as far the secrecy is concerned, but the drawback we can identify as the processing time. The processing time is much higher. Okay, suppose if two nodes wants to communicate with each other, then what need to do? They first need to request the other's public key to the public key authority, and they need to wait. They need to wait until unless they get a response from public key authority. Okay. Yeah, you say we have 10 nodes. Okay, so assume one scenario that we have 10 nodes. If we have 10 nodes in the network, suppose if all 10 nodes, if they want to communicate with each other, okay, if they want to communicate with each other, then what they need to do first? They need to request for the other's public key to the public key authority. Okay, they need to request the public key of all the other nodes to the public key authority. Then when they get a response back from the public key authority, then they can communicate with the respective nodes. Okay, so this actually consuming a lot of time. Okay, this consumes actually a lot of time requesting public key from the public key authority, and once it got a response, they uh, then they are communicating with the respective node using their public key. So this was a time-consuming process. Now, how to get rid of this, or how to make it more effective? Okay, that is the consuming less time in communication or in distribution of public key. Now, how to do that? Okay. Now, to do this or to achieve this, to achieve the said objective, we were going to the fourth technique, which is public key certificates. Okay, which is public key certificates. Now, again, you just look out the diagram carefully. Again, we have three roles here: A as initiator, B as a responder, or you can take A and B as the two peers. Okay, and we have one more entity called certificate authority. Okay, so earlier we have in the earlier what we have public key authority. Now we have certificate authority, right? Certificate authority. Now we can just see the transaction. Again, there were 6 transactions totally. Okay, but okay, now again, the introduction of this method is because of the time consumption. Okay, the time consumption in the previous process, it was much higher. Okay, to reduce the time consumption uh, in sharing of public key, we were introducing this. Okay, we are introducing this. Okay, so what A is doing first? Suppose if A wants to communicate with B. Okay, now what A does? A will register his public key with the certificate authority. Okay, if A wants to communicate with B, then A will register his public key to certificate authority. And similarly, the same will be done by all the users who wants to communicate with the other person. And this will be only one time. Okay? This is only one time process. The moment A registered his public key with certificate authority, now that is accessible. I think, I know, yeah. When A registered his public key authority, he got a certificate for the registered public key. Okay. The moment A registered his public with the certificate authority, so certificate authority will issue a certificate with respect to the registered public key as a CA. Okay. You can see the second transaction, the second arrow from certificate authority to A. Okay. So what is that? CA equals to E of PRAUTH along with the time, the timestamp, followed by IDA and PUA. Okay. So what is that IDA? IDA is the identifier A. So why IDA? Because certificate authority, just now he got a request for a certificate by A sending its public key. Okay, A is sending his public key PUA requesting for a certificate. Okay, so certificate authority is simply responding to that request. By how? Okay, certificate authority is creating a certificate for A. Okay, for A by including what all detail? By including timestamp, by including the IDs, the identifier, that is A's detail, as well as his public key. Okay, he is embedding all these things, all these details, and it is encrypted by using its own private key of certificate authority. Okay, and it has been called as CA, and it has been sent to A. Okay, now A can easily decrypt that. A can now A got a CA. Okay, A got a CA to it. Now, what if suppose that A wants to communicate with any number of users? A wants to communicate with any number of users. Now, what A will do is A simply sends CA to those many person. Okay. Now, what CA contains? CA contains his public key. Okay. CA contains A's public key. Okay. Whereas in the earlier process, what happened? If you remember, in the earlier process, suppose if A wants to communicate with B, then A is requesting B's public key. Okay, A is requesting B's public key if it wants to communicate with B. Okay, so but in this case, what happened? If A wants now A is requesting for his own certificate in which his public key is embedded. Okay, suppose if A wants to communicate with B, he'll be sending, so he'll be simply forwarding that CA to B. Okay, if A wants to communicate with C, he'll be simply forwarding CA to C. If A wants to communicate with D, he'll simply forward the CA to D. Okay, so there's no third party intervention for every communication. Okay, so only one time request for a certificate, then after that, directly they can communicate with the other nodes using the certificate. Okay, so by doing this, so a lot of time gets saved. Okay, a lot of time gets saved in this process. Similarly, as in B, in the B, so B is also requesting a certificate by sending his public key to certificate authority. Okay, then certificate authority will issue a certificate to B by including B's public key, B's details, as well as timestamp. Okay, now why timestamp? Because the certificate will be active for the duration mentioned. Okay, the certificate created on what particular date the certificate has been issued to the respective nodes. Okay, so that time it has been included in the certificate. Okay, but now B got a certificate CB, it's got its own certificate CB, A got its own certificate CA. Now A can directly send CA to B, B in turn can send CB to A. Okay. Now both can decrypt those certificates. Why? Because the certificate has been encrypted by private key or certificate authority. Now, anybody who knows the public key, that is everyone knows the public key or certificate authority, so they can decrypt it. Okay. The moment B decrypts CA, okay, the moment B decrypt CA, B comes to know that B comes to know about public key of A. Okay, B comes to know that public key of A. That is, A wants to communicate with me. Okay, A wants to communicate with B. Then B got to know A's public key. Okay. Similarly, when A decrypts the certificate CB, when A decrypts certificate CB, A comes to know that PUB and IDB. A comes to know that B, the node B, is sharing his public key with me. Okay, so that's how the public key distribution using certificate authority. Okay, so here nobody other than certificate authority can generate CA. Okay, so certificate can be only generated by certificate authority. So nobody else in the network can generate certificates. Okay, so certificate can be generated only by certificate authority. So again, masquerading is it is nearly impossible. Okay, masquerading is nearly impossible because none of them can generate a certificate, and even certificate is encrypted by private key. Okay, that is a digital signature. Okay, certificate authority is signing on the certificate. Okay, signing its own signature on the certificate. So that's how it denies that masquerading effect. Okay, it avoids that masquerading effect. Okay, it is proving his signature. It is proving his identity on the certificate. Okay, the moment any node in the network got a certificate from somebody, it means that it's a trusted source. Okay, the moment anyone is getting a certificate, okay, by any to anyone, it means that the certificate is coming from the trusted source. Okay, so here now we can take some more nodes here like C and D. Okay, assume in the network we have A, B, C, D. Okay, 4 nodes, and all 4 nodes have their certificate with them. That is CA, CB, CC, and CD. All the 4 nodes have their certificate with them. Suppose A wants to communicate with all the other 3 nodes, like it BCD. Okay, so they can send its CA to B, they can send its CA to C, they can send its certificate CA to D. Okay, D. So in this case, nobody else can masquerade himself as CA. Say node Z. Okay, so node Z cannot send CA to D. Okay, because CA is not available with the other nodes. The CA is issued to the respective nodes. Okay, using that, CA can be set, and even the timestamp, like how many times the particular certificates has been used. Okay, so how long it has been used in the network. Okay, so with those certificates, they are proving the identity, and hence the public key has been shared among the users of the network. Okay. So here the time consumption, which has been identified in the previous step, the that has been saved here. Okay, only one time request for a certificate. Then once they get a certificate, they simply using it uh, uh, for the communication with all the other nodes. Okay. So that time consumption has been saved by introducing certificate authority. So this is the fourth step, okay, or the fourth method of sharing a public key. Okay, so again, let me discuss all the four again. So we have four methods of distributing public key. One is public key announcement. Okay, so what is happening there? So every user generating a pair of keys, that is a private and public key. Private key, they were keeping it with themselves, and public key, they were revealing it to outside world. Okay, so as and when the public key generated, they will just they will just pushing it onto the network. Okay, so by doing this, uh, so then we cannot trust like the public key. So whoever has been claiming sharing their public key is actually the same person. So the masquerading attack can be possible. Okay, so suppose if I got public key from the network, probably that public key is not from the same person who is claiming himself as A or B. Okay, so somebody can masquerade themselves as some other person by sharing somebody's private, by sharing somebody's public key. So I can't simply take a public key from the internet because masquerading attacks were possible. Then we were just introduced the second method called public key directory. Okay, like I told, it's like telephone directory, wherein all the public key details has been recorded. Okay, all the telephone numbers are recorded. So, suppose if anyone want to connect with somebody else, then they simply look out those public key directory and get the number, get the public key of the respective user, and directly connect to them. Okay. So what is the disadvantage in this process? Suppose if the public key directory got tampered by the intruder, public key directory got tampered by the intruder, then again masquerading attack is possible. Okay. Again masquerading attack is possible in case of the second method. Then we have discussed on the third method, which is public key authority. Okay, the third method is public key authority. Okay, public key authority is what we are doing here is all the users who wants to communicate with the others, they registered, uh, they will they will just request for a public key of the other person. Okay, they just request for public key of the other person. Okay. So now A is requesting for a public key of the other person to the public key authority, and public key authority will be processing that request posting that request to A, and same is the case for the other person. Now, using those public key, they were uh, communicating with each other. Now, what is the drawback of this? So, whenever somebody wants to communicate with the other person, first they need to request to the public key authority for the public key. Okay, so requesting public key, getting the public key uh, from it, and then the communication is doing. It is taking a lot of time. It's a time-consuming process. That's how they have introducing the fourth method, that is the certificate, public key certificate. Okay, so in this, only one time a request for a certificate for the same person. Okay, suppose now A is requesting for his own certificate in which his public ID has embedded. Okay, A is sending his public key. A is sending his public key to the certificate authority, and he is requesting for a certificate. Okay, so public key authority is sending the certificate to the respective nodes, including their own details. Okay, and the same process is happening with all the other nodes. Okay, every node having their own certificate in which their details have been recorded. But now anyone who wants to communicate with the other nodes, they simply need to forward the certificate to them. Okay, they simply need to forward their certificate to them. Okay, then when they decrypt the certificate, they were able to get the public key of the respective users. Okay? And how do we ensure that somebody is not masquerading themselves as other person? Okay, it is not possible because certificate can be generated only by the certificate authority, and even it is digitally signed. Certificate authority is digitally signed by the authority himself using his own private key. Okay, so as it is digitally signed, so we can trust the certificate. Okay, we can trust the certificate if it is signed. Certificate was not signed. If the certificate, if the CA is not signed by the respective authority, then it cannot be trusted. Okay, that's how even in browsing any of the website, you might have seen the certificate is not valid. Okay, some icon has been coming, some round icon with a dot or exclamation symbol. Okay, so whenever you are browsing in the net, right? So when you click on that small icon, you will get that this certificate is not valid. Okay, even they have mentioned the certificate timestamp. How long the certification is valid. Okay, so every details we have in the certificate, like the details, the publisher details, the certificate detail. When you just go through, you'll get to know about the details of the certificate. Okay, so whenever the nodes want to communicate with the other person, they first request for the certificate for the requested for the authorized user, and when they get the certificate, they start doing the communication with the other entities of the other nodes. Okay, so that's how we they can share their public keys with the other person securely. Okay, so these are the four method distribution of public keys, and which are very important as per the exam point of view. Okay. Um, so I think it's clear. So let me stop recording, and if you have any questions,